7 wins in a row for the Patriots. Are they the best team in the AFC? It's certainly starting to look like it so far, although it's only November. To help us break that down and a gut check victory against the Tampa Bay Bucs on the road, let's welcome in Sports Illustrated's Mike Debate. Monday Mike, we call him, coming onto the show. And Mike, obviously the big story, player-wise, TreVeyon Henderson. 2 touchdowns, 55 yards, 69 yards. Patriots get that signature victory, 7th straight. Are we looking back and saying that was the breakout game for TreVeyon Henderson?
Oh, yeah, without question. If we're talking about TreVeyon, that was his breakout game. I mean, you don't gain in excess of 170 yards on the ground and maximize your snaps without breaking out to a national audience. And look, there were flashes of this during his time at Ohio State. We knew the type of explosive playmaker that the Patriots were potentially getting. But the one thing that keeps Patriots fans, I guess, in a euphoric state this morning when it comes to the job that they saw TreVeyon do yesterday is he did it when the Patriots needed it the most. Ramondre Stevenson down with a toe injury. Turf toe can be very difficult to come back from. Pats fans realized yesterday that TreVeyon can definitely keep the train running without any question and then some while we're waiting for Ramondre to come back, because make no mistake about it, I do see some smatterings along social media that maybe Ramondre Stevenson is no longer needed here on this team. I think that will be a conversation for the offseason. But this season, Ramondre is absolutely needed. You need a solid run game. You need a number of different players that could run the ball for you when the weather starts to get colder and you start playing in more cold weather environments, especially into the playoffs. Running the football is going to be essential. TreVeyon Henderson can do that with the best of them. And you add a healthy Ramondre Stevenson back into the mix. What a running game now all of a sudden the New England Patriots are putting out there each and every week.
Yes. And that becomes, hinging upon when Ramondre can come back. Because I'm going to look at it from the negative side of the coin here for a second, Mike. You can't take away the 2 touchdowns that TreVeyon Henderson had. But if you did, it would be 23 yards on 12 carries, which is nothing to write home about, right? And it was a lot of TreVeyon running in between the tackles, which we know is probably not the best for him, but because of where you're at depth-wise, you kind of need to do it. Terrell Jennings also goes down in this game, a guy who you brought in as a break glass, a case of emergency guy a couple weeks ago, and now he's going down as well. So are you worried about the sustainability of this run game like what you're talking about as we get into nastier weather, into colder games?
Well, the health of Terrell Jennings is actually going to be really the linchpin on where you're going to hang your hat on that concern for the running game. If Terrell is going to miss any time extended, that is a big concern for the New England Patriots, because now you're looking at placing a lot more pressure on TreVeyon Henderson. Even if you start to see Ramondre Stevenson take practice reps and get back on the field, and considering the short turnaround time that we have this week, I'm not anticipating that. I don't have any inside information on Ramondre's status just yet. We'll see what it looks like when he hits the practice field. But ultimately, if you're putting all of that on TreVeyon's shoulders, that's going to be a lot for him to carry. Dearness Johnson came in yesterday, I think 5 or 6 snaps, carried the ball a couple of times, only a yard. So we're not talking about someone that's coming in here and going to be able to eat up big-time yardage and get relief for the running backs when they need to come off the field. Patriots didn't address this during the trade deadline. They may be looking to the waiver wire sooner rather than later for some additional help there. But bottom line, a lot's going to be thrust on the rookie's shoulders. He proved he can handle the spotlight. The question is, can he handle the load? And I think on that basis, Cam, you're right on the money. I think there is a concern here for New England and their long-term health there.
Like watching that game yesterday, I'm thinking, I wonder what Steven Jackson's up to. Could he get another 20 carries for 19 yards for the Patriots? I was just like, that was the prevailing thought. But looking back at this game, it is a big win. The Patriots 28-23 is kind of a garbage time touchdown for Tampa, but they did have their shots after that Drake May pick to really get back in that game, if not take the lead in that game late in the game. But I want to go to right before the half, because that's what people were talking about today. It's Mike Vrabel's decision. He dodged the question about it, but just under 2 minutes to go before the half, you got the ball in a goal-to-go situation. You don't really want to give it up to Tampa because you're getting it out of the half as well. You want to make the most of that. Drake May runs into the line of scrimmage, goes down, keeps that clock moving. In your mind, Was that an intentional call by Mike Vrabel to play the clock?
Yes. Yeah, I do believe he did play the clock. I don't see a way around it. And I know there are a number of different ways in which you can spin it or, intellectualize it if you really want to examine every nuance of the game. But this is something that he's tried before. Mike loves to use the clock to intimidate his opponent, to get an advantage, and to make sure that you realize on that opposite side of the sideline that you're getting a fight. You're getting everything we have. And it also, gives a little bit of bravado into the mix. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think the Patriots right now understand the talent that they have. I think they understand the strengths that they're playing to. And because of that, yeah, I think the sky's the limit when it comes to what this team can do. So, yeah, I think it was a little bit of clock management there without any question. And I think that you're going to see similar types of opportunities if they present themselves coming down the line here, because the Patriots realize that the quality of their opponents on this schedule is not going to be necessarily the quality of the opponents they're going to face in the postseason. Those teams are going to be seasoned. They're going to be ready. They're going to be clicking on all cylinders. Patriots have to rise to meet that challenge. So anything they can do to get an advantage now, they're going to take it.
And it's almost as if like Mike Vrabel was kind of willing this team into being good situationally. Like we're going to keep doing, and towards the end of the game, obviously TreVeyon's running in for that second touchdown. And what's he doing? He's looking to the sideline. He's saying, should I go down? Should I go down? Drake May is telling him to go down, but Vrabel's like, screw it. Just go. We're going to be at 2 scores with a minute and a half to go. But I want to stay in that sequence before the half, because it's bold that Vrabel does that first down play. And even I'm watching it knowing what's happening. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this. It's really risky. What's even riskier, though, is that it gets to 4th and goal, 2 seconds left at the 1 yard line. They end up throwing a pass. Be honest with me, Mike. What did you think about that call at the time instead of taking the points?
Yeah, it surprised me. But I mean, at that point, you look at it and you say, okay, well, you know what? You're going to go for it every single time. You've got Stephon Diggs running across. He's able to get there. It's a 1 yard touchdown. Why not give it everything you've got? You've just attempted to make, runs and they're, 0 yard gains. And, say what you will, Todd Bowles has his defense ready for any situation. And they proved that they were up to the challenge at that point. Why not give it and give an opportunity for a goal line pass? And, unlike in previous Super Bowls, this one worked out pretty well for the New England Patriots, although that worked out very well for the New England Patriots. So, you know what? Whether you do it or whether you don't, the Pats usually find themselves on the right side of that call, and that's really all that matters.
I love it. It definitely worked out in this game on Sunday. And, we kind of hyped it up for weeks of like, Tampa's that next game. Tampa's that next real test. Patriots go down there and they pass the test. I mean, they've got the game in control for most of the 60 minutes, and they walk out of there with a victory. What kind of a statement does this win over the Bucs send to the rest of the league?
Well, it sends a statement that the Patriots are for real, and they are indeed back. And this team can take adversity. They can take your best shot, and they can go back and keep moving forward. And Mike Vrabel used a similar analogy that made me laugh a little bit, because I've used that analogy right here on these airwaves. It's like a Rocky Balboa type thing. It ain't how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I love the final sequence of this game. And I'm hearing an awful lot about, this was an unpretty win or this was an ugly win for the New England Patriots. You take a look at the last few minutes of this game. I mean, how much more beautiful does it get? Your quarterback, your star quarterback, who's playing at another level that is putting him in justifiable conversation for MVP, throws an interception. It automatically can crumble a young team. That's the type of move that can be a backbreaker. This defense goes out, absorbs a 9-play, 50-yard drive, and forces a very formidable quarterback in Baker Mayfield to turn the ball over on downs, because the last 2 downs, you're swarming, and that really gives you an opportunity. Patriots come back down, score a touchdown. That's the beauty of the way the Patriots are playing football right now. They're taking their opponent's best shot, and they're giving it everything they've got to come back out and counter it. That tells me that they can play with anybody, they can hang with anybody, and on that basis, sky may be the limit for the 2025 New England Patriots.
And you know what? sometimes it's good to be winning ugly because there's not been a lot of winning the last couple of years.
It's true. Take it as you can get it.
Like I think back to 2017, they had a game in Tampa. It was a Thursday night game. They played horrible. Nick Folk, weirdly enough, for Tampa, missed, I think, 4 field goals in that game, and they won 19-17, the Patriots did. And nobody remembers that. They went to the Super Bowl that year. They were the number 1 seed. Sometimes you got to have that. Like that is also, we talk about this team learning how to play situational football, and that's all part of like learning not to lose, right? The old coach adage. This feels like that's what they've done the last 2 weeks is learned that there's a lot of ways to win and that it's not easy to win in this league, but yet they keep doing it.
They absolutely do. And again, they're finding new ways to win. They're finding different ways to win, but they're using a similar formula. Every single time we're going to be hit with a piece of adversity, we're going to counter it with our best shot. And you're seeing it consistently over and over again, week after week. This team's won close games. They've won blowouts by essentially sticking to their script and not trying to stray from the formula. Because a lot of times when you stray from the formula, you pay the price. The Patriots have not done that. Give a lot of credit to Mike Vrabel and this coaching staff for keeping them focused on what really matters.
And looking ahead here, or looking behind for 1 second and then looking ahead. Big win for the Patriots yesterday, but maybe just as important, Buffalo just lays an egg in Miami, loses to a bad Dolphins team, and now suddenly you're essentially 2 games up on Buffalo because you have the head-to-head and one in the win column there. You have your first divisional game in over a month coming up against the Jets on Thursday Night Football this week. Obviously, the Jets, probably the worst team in football, and just traded their 2 best players last week. How important does that game now become with this new context?
I think it becomes very important. New England is expected to win this game. They have to go into this matchup and take care of business. They've got a little mini bye week, I guess you can say, coming up with the Thursday night game. They'll have the Sunday weekend to recuperate and then go into their matchup with Cincinnati fresh with a full week of preparation. But if they don't do their job and protect their home field on Thursday night, it's going to weaken the opinion that a lot of people have of this team. For a young team, it can mean the difference between an excessive amount of confidence, the right amount of confidence, or the shaking of that confidence where all of a sudden things start to fall off the rails. I don't think you're dealing with the latter when it comes to this team. I don't see anything shaking them to the core that's going to prevent them from being the type of team that we've seen. But this is an important win for them. They do need to make sure that they take care of business against the Jets. Jets are coming off of a win against the Cleveland Browns, so they're going to be feeling their bravado a little bit coming in. And boy, would they love to come in and play spoilers to the New England Patriots reemergence party, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah. They would love to. That's still a very bitter rivalry. Just ask a Jets fan what they feel about the Patriots resurgence, and they'll respond with about 5 words that I can't say on the air here because it is a family show here on the Wicked Boston Show. But bottom line, there is a level of responsibility the Patriots have to take care of business. Mike Vrabel's got to have them ready with a very short turnaround time.
Yeah, I mean, tell a Jets fan the beginning of last year, right? With Rodgers coming back, he's healthy, he's playing for them, and say, yeah, you know what? In 14 months, the Patriots are actually going to be way ahead of you. Remember that Thursday night game last year? They crushed the Patriots, and just to tell them then would be very funny. All right, last question here for you, Mike. It's going to be kind of a long one here, so stick with me. So 7 wins in a row is 7 wins in a row. I don't want to take away from that, okay? Lord knows I wouldn't want to take away from that after the last 2 seasons that we've had. It's a really tough thing to do in the NFL. But I think back to 2021, and you had a quarterback breaking out, or at least we thought. A lot of new free agents making an impact, guys who were signed that offseason. Crazy 3-point win in Buffalo puts the league on notice. The team's winning streak, I think that year was 5, not 7, and it was later into the season. It was going into December rather than going into November, and it all kind of just fell apart at the end. You remember they lost to Buffalo at home, and obviously they lost to Buffalo in the playoffs. It kind of falls apart there. They don't win the division, and they get embarrassed in the playoffs. Do you see similarities between these 2 teams, and in what ways do you think this team is different?
I see some similarities in terms of how they're being able to win games and how they're essentially taking some, I don't want to say inferior opponents, by surprise or whatnot, or maybe opponents that didn't take this team too seriously at the beginning. So that's where I think the similarities end. All due respect to Mac Jones, who I thought got kind of a railroaded time here in New England. I don't think he necessarily got the support he needed to be the type of quarterback he could become. But Drake May is on a different platform. He's on a different level. He's built differently. And in that respect, I don't see the same type of crumbling that you would see from the 2021 team, who faltered down the stretch and kind of showed you what they really are. I think this is what the New England Patriots really are. I think they are a team that's resilient. I think they are a team that has a nonstop fight. They're guided by a coach that everybody in that locker room, one way or another, has seemingly bought into, even if they've had disagreements with him, like Christian Barmore a couple of weeks ago being benched, for the first part of that game. He comes back in. Barmore goes down with an injury yesterday. Mike Vrabel is right there with him and right by his side. And you can make the argument that even that game they put things aside, gives him a big hug on his way into the locker room. I mean, this is the type of buy-in you're seeing and the type of synergy you're seeing from coach to player, and that really translates to, I think, great things on the field. So for anyone wondering if there is a little bit of deja vu, I wouldn't say that that's anything I need to worry about if you're a Patriots fan. I think this team is much more focused. I think they're much more together, and I think they are who we say they are and we see they are right now with this team moving forward. So maybe taking some of their opponents by surprise early on is where I would say that the similarities end on that 2021 team.
Love to hear it. Higher ceiling. I love to hear it. We're going to get a double dip of Mike Debate this week because of the short week. Thursday Night Football will, of course, need a breakdown on Friday. So we'll see Mike then. But before we get there, Mike, just tell the people how they can find you and what you've got cooking in the oven this week.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be breaking down the big win over the Bucs for the next couple of days on New England Patriots on SI, so you can catch all of my written work, including the written work of all of our great authors and writers over there at New England Patriots on SI. And we're going to be pivoting very quickly, probably Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning. You're going to see the coverage switch drastically over to the New York Jets. Rivalries week, new uniforms, going to be exciting times. Salute to service coming up this week for the New England Patriots as well. Rob Gronkowski retiring a Patriot. A lot of stuff to cover here in New England Patriots Nation, and we can bring that all to you with extensive coverage at New England Patriots on SI.
Oh, can't wait. And it is some of the best coverage in the dang business.
Thank you.
Mike, thanks so much for coming on again, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Absolutely, Cam. My honor and pleasure every single week. Can't wait to see you on Friday, buddy.
There he goes. Mike Debate. Patriots on SI. Break it down. Every Patriots win. I think he's undefeated. I think we're undefeated since having him on every Monday, and long may it continue. Let me know what you think about this Patriots win and what message it sends to the NFL. Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and find us on YouTube live at noon Eastern time every weekday, and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Here on your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio, The Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart.